What's up, everybody? Thank you for watching this video. My name is Lonnie Chambers. I've been coaching high school football for 4 years now. The main reason I'm making this page, just want to be able to document my football knowledge over the years as I continue to develop and learn new things. Hopefully, there's other coaches out there who can learn a little bit from some of these videos and incorporate it into your own offense. So I'm making this video specifically about zone rules, inside zone in particular. I think it's fitting that this is one of my first videos, mainly because pretty much every offense that I've been a part of, inside zone is day one install. It's the first thing in the playbook for most offensive linemen, I think, because the techniques and some of the rules translate pretty nicely to a lot of other schemes that you want to run in your offense. So to start, I'll mainly be demonstrating on a 4-2-5 defense. I think that's probably one of the most common that you'll see at the high school level. For my team that I coached, I think this was probably the most common front that we see. I'll probably go over some odd front things in the future. Maybe in this video, we'll see. But for the most part, just have 4 down linemen. We'll put a mic in here. Let's say where our will is back here. I'll make that a little bit bigger. Got a mic there. These days, most teams have a kind of nickel, maybe Sam hybrid. Here it's going to be splitting the difference between number 2. Let's go our corners here. Let's go 2 high safeties. Some teams, they have safeties that rotate. Some teams stick with a field safety and a boundary safety. For this, I'll just put free safety here. Let's go strong safety back here. All right. So yeah, first thing first for any offensive line, we'll start with identifying a mic, just so that the offensive line and even the perimeter players are all on the same page. And I could probably make a completely different video about identifying the mic for each defensive front that you're going to see. For this front in particular, I teach my center. The center is the one who's tasked with identifying the mic. Essentially, he's putting the imaginary line right down the middle of the formation, right? And it's going to be the second level defender who is the first guy play side, right? So we say it in our offense as middle front, right? So if we divide the formation down the middle, who's the guy to the front, right? So if we're going inside zone to the right, this Mike linebacker's to the right, that's going to be your Mike. Now, just because he's the Mike linebacker of the defense, right, doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be the Mike to the formation. For example, if we were going inside zone to the left, this Will linebacker would be the Mike, right? So it's just the easy way to have a quick identification prior to the play even starting. All right, so the next step, just going left from right for each offensive lineman. The main thing to know is you have your covered rules versus uncovered, right? So what I mean by that is who's covered by a defensive lineman, right, and which offensive lineman is uncovered. So when I say uncovered, right, that means specifically for this formation, it'll be the center and the backside tackle. And I'll go over that a little bit more in just a second. So uncovered, covered. All right, excuse my handwriting. All right, so we'll start with this right tackle. We'll go right to left in terms of their assignments, right? So right tackle, he's going to be covered here, right? Why? Because he has a guy who's not head up on him, but he's on his outside shoulder, right? He's in his right gap, right? He's going to be covered. We're going to assume man. All right, so pretty simple for this guy, right? He's manned up all day. Same thing, situation we have right here for our right guard, right? Our play side guard. He's got a 3 technique on his right shoulder, so that means he's covered. He's going to be manned up as well. All right, so now the first change up comes here from our center, right? he's not head up, right? He's got a one technique. He's got a shade on his backside, right? But he's got no one head up on him, and he's got no one in his play side gap, right? So for our uncovered guy, they have a different technique they got to use, right? For the uncovered guy, he knows he has to either build, right? Or he's going to combo. All right, so now I'm a center and I have nothing in my play side gap, right? His two choices are to build, right, to this mic, or he could call a combo call, right? So a combo call is telling the uncovered guy that he can help out one of his teammates with their down lineman. All right. So as a center, right, in our offense, traditionally I'm going to tell him to help out with this backside guard, right? So the reason I prefer for him to help out with this one technique as opposed to this three technique, right, is for inside zone, these two guys know that they can't get beat across their face, right? That's kind of rule number one when we're talking technique, right? We're taking our play side step, right? The second step, they're shooting their hands, right? We're making sure that we keep this guy in their zone, right? So we don't want them crossing our face, right? And it kind of messes up these run lanes that our running backs looking to check. All right. I'm a lot more concerned about my backside guard reaching this one technique than I am about my play side guard getting beat across his face, right? So here I would call a combo between my backside guard and my center. So they're going to combo, right? My center, he's going to step, probably still take a play side step, right? But he's got this left hand back to stab, hold this nose up for a second while my guard tries to get his head across, right? So he's going to step with his left, or actually, sorry, step with his right, right? Taking the second step with the left, right? Waiting for his backside guard to get through, right? We want to get vertical movement at the point of attack right here before he's looking to build and come off to his mic. All right, so a little bit nuance right there in terms of our first uncovered guy, right? So now we'll go back to our left guard. He's covered. He's assuming man, right? But now he knows he's got help from his center from the combo call. All right. So now we go to our tackle, right? Most offenses might count backers. So maybe if this is our Mike, we'll call him number one and we'll call him number two. Some offenses, I've seen it. What I prefer is that we have a point or our Mike linebacker, right? And now we can identify this guy as +1, right? And this guy can be -1. Okay. So if I'm the backside tackle here, right, we're going to know that we're uncovered, right? So we're going to either build or combo, right? He's got no one to combo with. He's the last one left in 10 personnel. All right. So he's going to build to our -1, right? Or his play side linebacker because he's the next second level defender available to go block. All right. So now we're looking pretty good, right? We got 5 linemen blocking these 5 offensive linemen. All right. And now we have this backside end to worry about, right? The quarterback's got this guy, right? So he's going to be our read key, right? So now our running back, he can press the line of scrimmage, right? We're thinking inside leg of the guard, right? He's running this track. Quarterback, he's going to keep this backside end honest, right? If he flies upfield and he contains for the quarterback, he's going to give it to our running back. Now our running back is looking to read these double teams, right? So we're pressing the inside leg of the guard, right? We want to be patient, see what this Mike linebacker does. If this Mike linebacker is shooting the gap, right, we might have to scoot outside of this, right, depending on the movement that our 3 technique is getting, or that our play side guard is getting on our 3 technique, right? Or if this Mike is coming down, he's triggering pretty hard, right? Our back might be able to cut back, right? And we'll be able to read these cutback lanes based on the momentum of the down lineman, right? So this is the first option, right? This is the second option. He's looking to cut back to our backside A gap, right? And then there's possibilities, right, where we get this backside linebacker cut off by our 1 technique, right? This thing could even hit to our backside B gap or even C gap, right? So if there's a situation where this end is flying way upfield, right, our running back might have room to cut all the way underneath this out the back door. All right. So now our quarterback, if there's a situation where this defensive end, which a lot of really good teams are playing it this way, right? If he wants to get hands on this tackle and squeeze this thing and take all the air out, right? He's not worried about the contain anymore. Then our quarterback, he's free to pull this ball and get out to the perimeter, right? So in the ideal world, we have these 5 blocked and we have this number 6 defender being read by our quarterback. All right. Another thing that I really like about inside zone is that it can match really nicely with the RPO game, right? Make it very easy for your quarterback to read. So we know that this is the first read. Essentially, any RPO on the backside, in my opinion, changes it to a triple option in theory, right? So this is the first option, and then you could read your second level defenders, another second level defender with the RPO game. All right, so depending on what teams are giving us on the front side, right? You know, one of these safeties are probably going to have to help backside, right? Just common sense. So there's a few things that you can do. I think that if you're having a very successful inside run game, a lot of teams might, try to fit the box with an extra defender, right? That's going to cause the safety to bump down. Maybe you get this safety up top, or maybe they are leaving this guy one-on-one for a matchup. That's something that as an offensive play caller, you have to make sure that you're keeping an eye on game day, or making sure you're doing that throughout the week with your game plan and on what you want to do to these extra defenders, right? What I like to do, or I think the most simple thing to do, is a combination of running the now screen here, backside, right, and you're having this guy block most dangerous, whether that be a safety coming down or this corner coming to play the run. You could also, switch the responsibilities out here on the perimeter. Right now, he becomes the blocker, blocking most dangerous, and you got your bubble. Right now, you have your bubble by number 2. It's basically about leverage that you want to take advantage of. If you got a situation where now you're going back to the 1 high safety look, this guy comes down to the box. Maybe he's a little bit too aggressive in the run game. I think this will help you, read this defender. You can go a bunch of different RPO situations to take advantage of what you're getting on the outsides. Right now, you can run your any type of glances. You can run your whatever RPOs you carry. Really, I like sit and sit with a corner route. You can run your things that might take a little bit longer to develop, right? You got your post wheel concept. There's a lot of things you can run backside. You could even make some pre-snap reads over on this side, whatever you like to do. Another thing that I really like about, kind of just the inside zone world is that regardless of all of this, right, nothing changes for your offensive line, right? And in terms of changing personnels, I'll draw it out of kind of some 2-back stuff here in a second. But in terms of your personnel, it doesn't affect your rules whatsoever, right? So if I put up a box here or a front that determines a bigger box, right, we can also still take advantage of that, and nothing at all changes for your offensive line. All right, so here, pretty much the same defense or the same offense. The only thing is I brought in a slot receiver, and now we're going to make him sniffer, an offline tight end, fullback, whatever you call it in your offense. In our offense, we call it a reaper. It just sounds cool, I guess. But essentially, you could get the exact same box. Some teams might sneak a third linebacker into the box instead of running 4-2-5. It really doesn't change much for our offense if you're sticking to the rules, right? So still have our 3 technique to the strength. We'll have a backside nose, or even if he's a 2, it doesn't really change too much. It just makes, in my opinion, just makes this guard have to work a little bit less harder if this guy's even. And then we'll have a backside 5 technique, Mike backer again. Put the wheel here in a 40. Let's say that this guy's just cheating it in. Maybe you have a true Sam linebackers like in a 50 as opposed to a nickel who's going to be, truly splitting the difference. Let's go corner here, corner here. Still just 2 high safeties. Something like that. All right. Still doesn't change here, right? Covered. He's assuming man. Covered. He's assuming man. Right. Still going to combo this to the backside. I've seen a bunch of different combo calls for my freshman offensive line just because they are, not as developed as high school seniors or college players. We kept the combo calls pretty simple, right? So between our imaginary tight end, right? So imagine if there's a tight end and tackle here, right? We would call that a tray. Between our guard and play side tackle, we call that deuce. And then between play side guard and our center, we call that an ace. I've been a part of offenses where we had different calls for the backside. So backside center and guard would be a king, backside guard and tackle would be a queen, and then backside tackle and tight end would be a joker, right? Or a tray, whatever you want to call it, right? So I think it was just a little bit maybe too much for a freshman to have different combo calls for play side versus backside, but in theory, I like that as well, doing it that way. All right, so back to our rules here, right? Now we're going to -1, and we still have this guy who needs to be accounted for, right? So a couple different things that I like to do that still fits within the inside zone rules are just manipulating who we want to read based off this inline tight end that we're able to use now, right? So I like to motion this guy pre-snap, see if that's going to get some type of box manipulation, right? If these linebackers are going to bump, maybe the safety is going to roll down, that kind of thing. I like to also utilize this guy as another blocker, right? So instead of reading this guy, right, you can have your sniffer come across, run an inside zone split, right? So this guy's used to being read. Now we're going to start kicking him out, right? Getting the body on him and make sure that our running back can kind of get downhill a little bit more, right? Or even cut back through backside B gap if he wants to use this as more like a lead. Another wrinkle that I really appreciated doing this. I had a really athletic kid right here, so I was able to do a lot with this position. You could also bluff the kick, and now you slip this guy out to the flat. Same thing here. You could still run all your RPO things. You could hit this guy leaking out to the flat, or you could use him as a lead blocker, right? If you are having him leak out to the flat, now you still have 2 for 2 blocking out there, right? And meanwhile, your offensive line doesn't know anything that's happening out here, right? It's the exact same play call for them. All right. Another thing that I like to do in 20 personnel, that's still not really going to change our rules too much, right? There's another thing that I like to do in terms of our offensive zone rules, right? Is if you can put in a tag, or even if you prefer to make it a completely new play call, right? You can have this backside tackle stay manned up on the down lineman if you want to get big on big, right? And now you could insert with your reaper or tight end or sniffer, whatever you're calling this kid, right? If you want to get the more athletic position on the more athletic running back, right? And that eliminates another read for your quarterback. If that works better for you and your offense, I think that's ideal and could work for you because it keeps all the communication consistent, right? You're changing one guy's rule as opposed to putting a new play in for all 5 guys, right? So nothing changes here, right? We still got a combo to our mic. We still manned up here. We're still running inside zone principles to the play side, right? So, I really like this idea of keeping things as consistent as possible for your front 5 guys. Your quarterback is easy to be on the same page too. Now you can do pretty much the exact same things in terms of technique. Now this guy, he's just basing the same as this play side tackle. Um, really, you can do whatever you want with your offense. I think for us, inside zone, having um, consistent communication with the combo calls, with the covered and uncovered calls, making these guys, especially freshmen in high school, point out on the first day of camp, this is my guy, I'm covered, I'm not covered. We're going to make our combo call to number 51 right here, or having that verbal communication out on the field. I think is really necessary to make sure that by the time it's week 5, week 6, week 7, later in the season, this stuff is like second nature. And even 14-year-olds are running this as consistently as possible. So thanks for watching the video. That's all I got for Inside Zone for now. Stay tuned for videos coming in the future about other concepts in the pass game and some other run schemes as well. All right.